Hey everybody, I'm new to BookTube, so I thought it was only right and proper that I follow the tradition and go through the BookTube Newbie Tag questions. So that's exactly what I plan to do in this video. Here we go. Why did you start this channel? Well, more than anything, it is to give myself motivation to read more regularly. So as you'll see, the shelves behind me are packed and rammed and need tidying. Over the years, decades at this point, I've been collecting books. My wife's also an avid reader, so there are lots of books from kind of both of our collections throughout the house, not only in this room, but in several other rooms of the house. And it gets to be a bit of a problem in terms of clutter. Despite collecting lots of books over the years, I have never been a prolific reader, which is ridiculous. I've always wanted to read more. I've never really found the time to read more. I'll go through patches of and peaks and troughs of reading lots and then not reading much at all. So I would really like some drive to actually stick with reading, because I love it. I absolutely love it when I'm, in the middle of a book that I'm really, really into. There's not much that matches it. So yeah, I would really like to get back into reading more prolifically and have that be a sustained thing for me. It's something I've done with video games. So I stream over on Twitch, also under Play and Catch Up, and I have done for a few years now since the pandemic, like a lot of people. And it was the same thing. I'd collected video games for years and years and years. I've always played them, but there were lots of games I'd bought when they first came out and I'd never got round to, and I just wanted that thing to focus on, to be able to say, right, today or this week or this month or this year, I'm going to get through a certain amount of games and actually enjoy them rather than just collect them. So that's worked really well for me with games, and I'm hoping that this will do the same thing for me with books, because I've picked up reading again recently and I would really, really, really like to carry on with it. I've also been inspired, having found the channel Books Are Sick. I find Nick's videos really, really entertaining. His enthusiasm really spills over, and I find myself kind of nodding along and getting caught up. And I'd like it to be a similar thing for me. I'd like this to be the thing that really spurs me on to read more. Okay, next question. What are some fun and unique things you can bring to BookTube? Now, that's a really difficult question to answer. I don't know if there's going to be anything overly unique, other than the fact that I as I say, I guess slightly different to a lot of channels is I'm going to be reading through stuff I've collected over the years and not got around to reading yet, rather than maybe reading the current big thing. That's something I probably won't be doing. I won't be kind of trying to keep up with, what's big at the moment. Of course, sometimes there's going to be stuff that really, really piques my interest that other people are talking about, and that's great when that happens. That's fantastic. But on the whole, I'm less interested in that. I'm more interested in what's something that I think I'll really like. And as I say, the shelves are packed full of things that have had my interest at one point or another over the years. So I'm really excited about delving through those. Some of those are going to be, thought of as classics. Some of them absolutely will not be, but they'll all be things picked up over the years that I will like to delve through eventually. But yeah, if something's just really big right now amongst BookTube, but I wouldn't normally be interested in it, then I probably won't be reading it at that point. I guess I'm kind of doing it for me. Like I say, just going back to this thing of what's going to actually keep me interested. And I think this kind of approach is the thing that will probably mean I'm more likely to carry on making these videos. So fingers crossed. What am I most excited about for this new channel? Well, reading more regularly, as I say, that would be the real big upside. And obviously I'm not expecting to get loads and loads of followers or viewers or subscribers and what have you. But if there is a small sense of community around here, and it seems like BookTube is a really good place for that, then hopefully kind of getting some recommendations for stuff that I might not otherwise read that I can look out for when I'm out kind of shopping at charity shops or thrift stores or car boot sales. So what I tend to do is pick up books that way rather than buying new, although I will do that if it's something I'm really, really excited about. Um, and probably, yeah, along the recommendation side of things, hopefully exploring some genres or authors that I have previously thought aren't for me, or I've been a bit intimidated by. Trying to think. So fantasy, for example, is a genre that I would probably love, but I find really hard to get into. So that's one of my ideas for a future video, actually, is um, around some books that might help me get into, that might be gateway into that genre for me. So that kind of thing, kind of maybe examining areas that I wouldn't normally read off my own back. It's, again, that's something that's worked really well with video games over on Twitch when I've been doing that. So yeah, I hope that will be a thing here as well. Okay, why do I love reading? I think, like a lot of people, books can be a wonderful form of escapism. For me, I love anything that kind of can move me emotionally, I guess, either make me smile or cry or whatever it might be. I think that books can sometimes do that in a way that other forms of popular culture can't, and forms that I love, like, movies and music and whatever it might be. Books are just special in that way, I think, and can really, really get their claws into me, I think, and pull me along. Yeah, I've like I say, despite never having read, excuse me, despite never having read prolifically, I've always loved it ever since being a kid. So yeah, I'm kind of ashamed that I haven't read more over the years, and I hope to rectify that now. Which leads nicely, I suppose, into what book or series got you into reading. This is probably going to be a bit of a cliched answer, but as a kid, Roald Dahl books, and I know Dahl is somewhat problematic, but as a kid, the books were the ones that really got me into reading. I think specifically the Twits, George's Marvelous Medicine, and Danny Champion of the World were the three, I think. George's Marvelous Medicine, I specifically remember as well, Rick Mayall reading on BBC's, was it on Jack and Ori or something along those lines? And he read George's Marvelous Medicine and he really brought it to life in the telling. And I think that really, really kind of gripped me as a kid. So yeah, those are a few Dahl books that kind of got their teeth into me when I was younger. What questions would you ask your favourite booktubers? Well, first and foremost, how do you read so quickly? One of my big things is I'm very slow, or traditionally very slow with reading. And I think there's a question around this later, but one of my concerns around doing these videos is, am I going to be able to get through enough books quickly enough to be able to put up regular content? But that's something I can deal with. Maybe take different approaches as I go. But yeah, how do you read so quickly would be one question for my favourite booktubers. And I guess, what do you know now, having been a booktuber for a long time, that you wish you knew when you started out? What are the kind of obvious things I might be missing? Yeah, I guess those are the kinds of questions I'd ask, alongside, very nerdy specific things about books they've featured in some of their videos that I enjoy. Okay, which challenges associated with starting a booktube channel will be the hardest to overcome? So yes, reading enough, reading quickly enough, getting through enough books to be able to put up weekly videos or whatever it ends up being. That could be a problem. But like I say, maybe there are some other approaches I could take to these videos that mean that's less of an issue, but I'll need to think about that and be a bit clever with it, I think. Which is not my forte, but we'll see. Thumbnails will also be an issue, as you'll probably will have seen from this video. A graphic designer I am not, so I think it's going to potentially be a problem. But yeah, these are small things in the grand scheme of things. So I think there will be some challenges along the way. But I really hope that this will be, as I say, exactly what streaming games on Twitch was for me with that medium. Something that I can just really look forward to doing on a regular basis, getting a little bit of feedback, hopefully, recommendations, as I say, and actually just getting through some books that I've wanted to read for years and years. It sounds stupid as I say it, you know, why have I not just sat down and read them? But I've always found time for other things and not as much time as I should have done for books. So that's the real aim with this, and kind of conversely also the biggest challenge is kind of keeping up that momentum, but we will see. I think that's the last question. So yeah, this is my BookTube Newbie Tag video, I guess. But yeah, we'll be on to the normal type of content next. And yeah, I hope you enjoy the videos. Thanks very much for watching. Bye bye.